Guild Wars 2 doesn't have a vertical progression in that sense. However, Ascended gear might not be as straightforward to acquire as exotic gear. Ascended gear is the best gear stats that you can get, and today I want to tell you everything that you need to know about how to get Ascended, and especially what is the fastest way for each specific gear piece. If you're only interested in one specific acquisition method, be sure to skip to the corresponding section. I will explain every single method, and I will also give you my opinion on what is the best way to get it. So be sure to watch the whole video to not miss anything that you might need to know. And with that out of the way, let's jump right in. Let's start with the general basics. Ascended gear has about a 5% stat increase in comparison to exotic gear. So it is not a major increase. However, of course, if you want to have the optimal build, you should have Ascended. Ascended gear doesn't have any jewel slots. It has the stats that you would get with a jewel, just added on top of the normal stats. Ascended gear, of course, also has an upgrade slot for runes and sigils. However, Ascended gear also has infusion slots. So rings can have up to 3 infusion slots, armor and weapons have 1 slot each. So these infusion slots are not important for anything else than fractals. However, they will give you a small stat increase if you have stat infusions for World vs. World and PvE in general as well. They are just needed for high tier fractals, where you need the agony infusions. Rings can get up to 3 slots, as you can see with my legendary equipped ones. You can get them by attuning them and infusing them. The recipe is here on screen right now, but it's not necessary, of course, if you don't play fractals. And your amulet actually doesn't have an infusion slot, it has an enrichment slot. What's the difference? The difference is, and an enrichment can give you, for example, karma increases or experience increases from kills. So they can be quite useful. For example, in World vs. World, you can get more World vs. World experience, so they can be quite nice there. You can see that would be a stat infusion, and that would be an enrichment. You can also buy it for quite cheap, the World vs. World stat infusions, where you don't have the agony, but you have the damage to guards and lords or damage reduction. That can be cheaper to go for the stats if you don't play fractals, but if you need to play fractals with this character, you should go power or the corresponding stat and agony resistance, which are of course way more expensive. Now enough about the infusions, let's talk about uniqueness. Every single trinket except raid trinkets are unique. That means you can't equip twice the same trinket. What does that mean? For example, you have this ring that is Berserker stats, you can't equip it twice because it says unique. This is the same stat, but it's another ring. Those two you can equip together, but you can't equip 2 of the red ones. The only exception for that would be raid accessories and rings. They are not unique. You can change the stats of your Ascended gear by either using a Mystic Forge recipe for your armor and your weapons, or some trinkets can be stat swapped with special recipes from Living World. You can salvage your Ascended gear with Ascended salvaging. I have a guide about when you should, it's in the top right. And while you're there, why not subscribe for more helpful Guild Wars 2 content, so that you can ascend to an even better gamer. Sorry for the pun. Where do you get Ascended gear from? Let's start with armor. Armor can be drops from raids, world bosses, for example, Tequatl, Triple Trouble, those have a chance of dropping armor as well. They can be from Fractal, they can have a really rare chance of dropping from World vs. World rank ups. You can also get them from guild missions. You have a really low chance from getting them from champion loot packs, and you can get some of it from sunken chests. Of course, all of that is really luck based, so you can't really farm it. You can, however, go for crafting. You can craft it, which uses Ascended materials and a lot of other materials that you just have to get. Will encounter some time get there because the Ascended crafting needs 500 of the corresponding crafting profession. However, you can circumvent the time gain by buying the almost final product like Dalgymore or Spirit Wood Plank from the TP. It will be quite expensive, so I would not recommend crafting if you don't really have to do it. You can also get it from achievements. You can see it here on screen. There are quite a lot of achievements that reward you with specific armor pieces. So all the achievements and all the stuff is listed on the wiki. So be sure to check out the link in the description to that. So the most reliable way are the vendors. You can get it from multiple ways in PvE. You can use Fractal, Strike Mission rewards, or Raid Mission rewards to buy it for the corresponding currency and some gold. And you can get it from World vs. World and PvP. However, for those, and for the Fractal ones actually, you need Grandmaster marks, which are, so to say, a way of showing that you have crafting profession to the corresponding maximum level. It's not that necessary. You can also use Living World Season 3 to get Ascended Aqua Breeders if you need it for Fractals, for example. So what is my recommended way of getting it? My recommended way of getting it is with the Wizard's Vault. Wizard's Vault is the last and most important way of getting it. You can go to Astral Vault here and you can purchase 3 armor pieces which are stat selectable on each rotation. So that means every 3 months it will be a new rotation, so you can get it 6 months just for free for getting the daily stuff. Of course, if you want to get it faster, you have to use the other ways, but it's the best way to obtain Ascended armor. That much is for sure. It's so easy, you just do your dailies and you get it in the end. If you want to get it faster though, because you only get half of it, you can of course use the methods that I described before. I would recommend the Strike Mission one because it's actually not really hard to acquire Strike Mission gear and you can easily get a group and you can easily farm blue profit shards really fast. So it costs some gold and blue profit shards and that's it. That's my recommended stuff. Of course, if you want to go even faster, you can also do raids, but they might be a little bit more challenging. So for new player, I would go with Wizard's Vault and Strike Missions. If you want to know more about the Wizard's Vault and what stuff you should get as a new player first and what is trash here in this season, be sure to check out my tier list in the top right hand corner. And now let's talk about weapons. So weapons, we have the same thing like armor. You can get weapons via achievements. Of course, that's not a really farmable way for most parts. You only get it once and that's it. But if you want a special weapon, you can actually get it this way as well. Again, you can get it from some random drops from raids, strike missions, also rift hunting actually, from world bosses such as Stickwaddle, Drakar, Dragonfall, Dragonstorm and much more. They are again just random. Fractals as well, world versus world rank up, guild missions and champion loot packs. So again, very similar to the armor, but it's again also RNG based, so you can't really farm it that easily. Again, you can craft it with the crafting professions at 500. You can craft ascended weapons. However, they are also quite expensive to make and sometimes time gated if you don't want to spend even more money on the TP. So I would say don't craft it. That's just a bait. It's not that necessary. You can easily get it from the last one. Again, the vendors. Everything here again as on the wiki. So be sure to check out. Link is in the description. Again, you can get it from Fractals, PvP, World vs. World, raids, and strike missions. I would also recommend to not use the World vs. World, PvP, or Fractal ones if you don't have the crafting profession leveled up, or if you don't have Grandmaster marks laying around. The best way, however, is again the Wizard's Vault. In the Wizard's Vault, you can get 1 weapon chest each rotation. So after 2 rotations, you would have 2 full 2-handed weapons equipped. It's not the fastest way, but it's a very easy way to get it. So I would always get it as a new player, the Ascended Weapon Chest. If you want to have more Ascended Weapons in 1 rotation of the Wizard's Vault, then I would go for the Strike Missions again or the Raids, because they just need you to play some PvE with exotic gear, for example, and you can easily get Strike Mission rewards that you then can turn into Ascended Weapons. So it's definitely the way to go in my opinion. Now let's talk about back items. So back items you can of course get from PvP and World vs. World, working towards the legendary back piece here, also for Fractals. However, they can also drop from raids. You can also buy them from there. You can craft some of them. They are also quite expensive, especially if you want to get the next infusion slot. That might also be more expensive. You can also get it from achievements. Most of the achievement ones though are not selectable, so they are specific. Check out the wiki if you want to see a full list here. Link is in the description. You can also go to the vendors, Living World Season 3 vendors, sell you just for the map currency and some unbound magic, if you have, of course, Living World Season 3 unlocked. It's really nice if you want to farm it. It's really easy to farm them if you're dedicated, and you can also get it from raids if you want to. If you play raids consistently, you get enough magnetite shards to either purchase them or get a lucky drop. So back pieces, in my opinion, can be quite easy if you farm them. However, if you want to play a lot of characters, that might get annoying in the future for sure. The fastest way that I would recommend you to do is probably the winter berries if you have Bitter Frost Frontier unlocked. It's actually quite easy. They are just character kept and you can easily farm them with multiple characters if you want to. And we have trinkets. Trinkets, again, can randomly drop from raids, fractals, and World vs. World ranks. This is not really farmable. The only farmable ways would be achievements. Can be quite annoying to get some of them. If you want the full list of all the achievements, be sure I Again, to check out the wiki, link is in the description. You can also get them from vendors again. From vendors, it's actually quite nice. There are a lot of trinket vendors out there. So for example, you can get it from raids, you can get it from even silver wastes. There are ways to get it from Path of Fire, from fractals again. You can get it from guild missions, you can get it from the laurel merchants, you can get it from festivals. Of course, and all the other things again as well, fractals, raids, strike missions. Not always all pieces are available. My recommendation here is to go for, again, Living World Season 3 or 4. Quite easy to farm nowadays, and you can get it really fast if you have access to them. If not, I would recommend to either go for the Laurel one, because Laurels you can also get with the Wizard's Vault. Typically, the trinkets are not a big part of your Ascended journey, because you can easily get them from various ways, so you will in the end get enough of them quite fast, and it's not the thing that will be the last Ascended piece that you get, typically. So that was a lot to take in. I hope I was clear enough so that you understand now how to get all the Ascended gear. Let me know in the comments if it was helpful and if I missed something important. If you found it helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more amazing content in the future. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to all my supporters on Twitch, Patreon and YouTube. Thanks Timur, thanks Malice, and I hope to see you all in my next video.